balancing, we got some pace, we got a good shots, but she's a low guy. She's really comfortable. So we'll get her there, but it just wasn't going to happen the other day, and not today either.
Okay, so she was all the way out today.
No, we got a workout in with her. So we're just, it's day to day basically is what I can tell you, and we got my fingers crossed for Wednesday.
Okay. Oh, just a quick housekeeping thing. You guys made the two roster moves yesterday.
We did.
Kind of thoughts behind that, and just kind of like the timing, because you guys still have some time to go, but now you have a little bit more roster space.
Yeah, just it's inevitable that we're gonna make some cuts just like everyone else. And JoJo and Morgan, they actually put themselves really well. We're just getting to that point where we've got to start narrowing down. Probably we're fine tuning some of our scouting, our approach, and all that. So it's about that time to start looking at who's going to be our 11 or 12. And so we took that step, and as you know, I mean, we have a few more cuts to make, but we'll go day by day. And, I think Wednesday will be a good test to just kind of see where we're at.
Are you guys only looking in-house to fill out that roster? Because other teams are making moves as well.
Yeah.
Are you guys keeping an eye on that?
Yeah, we're keeping an eye on that. That's more of a Jamila question, frankly. But I'm keeping an eye on it. Coaches are, but that's really, that's Jamila's expertise, and she's going to take the lead on that.
Even without Caitlin Clark in that last game against the Fever, they love to run that short roll action, and they ran it a couple times for DeWanna Bonner. What did you like about how you covered that action in the game?
Well, BB presents a problem because she's really tall and long and can shoot the lights out, but she also has some inside game as well. So, frankly, I think for us it was good to get some reps at dealing with a player who has that type of spatial versatility, frankly. And so, I will say I don't think I'm giving away too much, but like mid-range, tougher shots, at least get a contest. But gosh, if she's dialing up from three, if she's getting cutting layups and stuff like that, that's really when we're going to have a major concern. So it's not that we're trying to give up mid-range shots, but we'd much rather prefer that than her just skying over us and dropping it on our heads like at the rim, or dialing up the three where she's quite a threat.
And then with Sonia and how she presented in that game, just solid in terms of her effectiveness and efficiency. What was the key to that success for her to show that way?
I think her approach of really just, I've said it before, I'll say it again, I mean, she's confident, but she's also really coachable. And so I think, she mentioned a few nerves and all that, but she's a good player. She can play the game, and she's got a great approach. But what she doesn't know or what she doesn't quite have down, she's really open to hearing and receiving, not only from the coaches but from the players. So I felt like I saw that on display. Even a mistake here or there in the game, you could talk to her, she could apply it right away and try to fix it. So those are all impressive skills in the service.
Do you remember anyone that came off the bench that stood out to you in particular in the game?
I mean, a lot of people, Kiki was a little looser with the ball, although a couple of her passes I thought could have been caught, and so she might have been attached. There's some turnovers there, but I just think her presence, there's never any doubt in her mind in terms of whether she belongs, and she looks to play her game and establish some kind of inside presence, and then I love her confidence outside. As we're really trying to have that positionless basketball. So she's one that I thought stuck out, but geez, I mean, I thought our second and third unit, if you will, they played really, really hard. We got some swings, we got out in transition, we got some extra efforts defensively. I think overall, as a whole, the defensive rebounding is nowhere near what it needed to be. I'm rambling a bit. I did mention Kiki, but I honestly felt like I could go down the line in terms of the number of players that showed us what we've seen in our gym. We wanted to make sure that traveled to Indiana, and we felt like we did.
Do you feel like the game gave you any insights to how you'll adjust to that, having Trojan around for a while?
Well, I mean, it'll take time. I mean, she's a big little piece. I mean, she's just a joyful player, plays fast, high IQ, wonderful person. I mean, so that's kind of like there's a hole there, just in terms of what we thought we would be benefiting from her. And, so yeah, but it also gives some players some time to step up. So we'll see how that plays out.
Assess the positive carryovers moving forward from what you saw in that Indiana game to the next game on Wednesday.
I was really pleased with our joy for the game and just competing and our togetherness, I guess like our openness and willingness to learn from moments throughout the game. Trying to get better within the game. I thought those were wonderful, and we want to follow that up. I will say, I was really disappointed in our defensive rebounding, our boxing out, and we were far too loose with the ball. So, we've got some positives, and we've got some areas that we certainly need to tighten up.
Not that lineups are set in any kind of stone at this point. But what did Shug and M do to kind of earn getting in at that opening unit, and what did you think about them from the game?
Great call out. Well, I mean, Kira's kind of like our core, right? So it's like not having her, between Emily and Kiki was probably what I was thinking. And, I like Emily's, Emily and Kiki. So I think they'll both play. Emily with just a little bit more experience. And just wanted Kiki to be able to settle into the game and take it in from the bench. But I see a lot of ability to kind of be versatile between the two of them, and then that's not to mention Elliot too. So I thought that's good. With Shug, she's been very good in terms of taking care of the basketball. She's obviously a setup kind of point guard, and will just allow Slim to be off the ball that we've noted a lot. So she's had some impressive moments in camp, and so that was the idea there. We've given her the starting nod, but just know that Jay will be battling, and I want them both to be fighting for it at the same time. To have them both aware of their roles, whether they're starting or not, because healthy-wise, they're both going to play a good amount of minutes.
Was the 31 minutes by design for Shug, or did it?
Yes, it was. Yes. So I was going to have her be a little bit on the heavier side, just being mindful of working Slim and Steph in particular in. Again, knowing there's some minutes there that Kira has opened up, so we're balancing a few things, Yeah, so that was a mindset. Kira, Wednesday, I'm going to reassess a little bit and just see how we're going to play that out. But those were the considerations going into that game.
And you mentioned in the past the relationship that coaching staff needs to have with the point guard, and just how being an extension of you guys as coaches.
Yeah.
What have, as being a new staff and not knowing these players as well as you would normally, what are some of the things that you guys have done off the court to kind of build up that relationship and then lead to you guys them being the extension?
Yeah, I think it's twofold. There's the kind of off the court time that you spend and just kind of letting them know who you are and learning who they are, and just genuinely just building a relationship. One, just that. And then two, being intentional about the things that I'm literally scripting out and talking to our coaching staff and then to me, handing that script to our point guard and saying, this is literally what we're doing in staff meetings and where we're looking to push and challenge and applaud the team. Want you to be mindful of that, intentionally and obviously and aware of, so that you can be doing that in your role as a leader of the point guard. So intentional, and then also just kind of organic, natural in terms of just being in a relationship and good conversation.
Is that script, and I see you withholding it from the rest of the team, but is that something only the point guard sees?
No. It's always big picture, always wanting everybody to know where we are, but just naming it. As everybody's taking in what we're sharing, but then they also have, just what they're trying to get out of the day. Your thing as the point guard to get out of the day is what we just named for the team. You know what I mean? And that's a connection that point guards and quite frankly, I think leaders need to make. Because you're checking a box is literally what does the group need? I'm going to make that happen today, tomorrow, the next day.